Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime Symbol, and today I'm going to be giving you What If Naruto Was the Homelander Part 2. Remember to get this one too 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends on your social media platform, and also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the other channels. If you're new, yes I indeed have 3 more channels that I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and smash that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support guys. All the links will be down below within the description, so go ahead and obliterate them. So without further ado, or wasting any more time, how about we jump right into this brand new episode. Let us begin now guys. So the last time we left off, we started out with chaos as Orochimaru base was being attacked because there was someone inside that they were here for, a young boy. Very young. As the place was being attacked by Jiraiya of the Sanin, and there was Anvus as well. Orochimaru unfortunately was returning back to the base as he saw what was happening. He wanted to chance it because his experiments were going well, but he was too late as he cursed as he saw Jiraiya with the child as the other Konoha ninjas were coming. He had no choice but to flee. Years passed after that, as there was a team of root ninjas partaking within a very dangerous mission as they made their way towards a secluded island, finding someone that they should erase. And they should send a message as well by destroying the place as they call in someone. It was that same child but much older as he was now 13 years old. The child was very powerful. Powerful in fact that he could throw people through buildings without even breaking a sweat. He could shoot lasers from his eyes. He could crush bones. And he killed them in the most brutalist way possible. He had no sympathy, no remorse, as he seemed to not look at the people like they were anything like him. He looked at them like they were maggots below him as he wiped them from the face of the earth. He then proceeded to rip the entire island apart, flying through it at supersonic speed as he destroyed the building and tore everything up. Skipping towards the office, Hiruzen Sarutobi was talking to Danzo Shimura. As much as they didn't get along, they had to for the sake of the village. The boy name was Naruto Uzumaki, found years ago after Orochimaru had kidnapped the child. He was back within their custody. Hiruzen had handed the child over to Danzo to properly train him because he could not. Naruto was unstable. That was very visible from a young age, as Danzo could not fix it. The seal would not work on him. The child did not possess the 9 tails. They had no idea where it was. Perhaps Orochimaru had the beast, and if that was the case, they would need the child to defend this village when the Sanin decided to strike. Danzo was one of the most cryptic men, able to manipulate and use people with ease, and yet he failed in this task. Yes, he could not manipulate this boy. He just could not. There was a lot that they were keeping from him, which was a really bad idea because he did not like when people lied to him. At the moment, Danzo was trying to find a way to destroy the boy if need be, as they couldn't afford to let him be all powerful because there was nothing they would be able to do to stop him. They need to find a way to stop him if he turned against them. Danzo did not trust him, despite Hiruzen seeing that the boy was nothing but trustworthy. Danzo did not trust him one bit. There was something that he's noticed over the past few years, and he did not trust him, so he was working on a way to take him down. Danzo spoke to him by streaking his ego, telling him that the village needed him back in the light for him to show the other nations the might of Konoha. As he went to visit Hiruzen and got his head banned, afterwards he made his way towards the apartment building where he was supposed to stay, as he met someone, an older woman, who was rather nice. We then skipped to Orochimaru. He had returned back to the village on the day when the Nine-Tail attacked. He returned late. That wasn't his goal was to retrieve something from one of his many bases. When he saw the young boy lying there, Orochimaru had tried to kill all the root ninjas that were nearby, but one of them survived and informed Hiruzen Orochimaru had taken the child. Some rather important scientists had been working on something that Orochimaru had them work on, under the threat of death. It was known as Compound V. The Sanin proceeded to inject many with that, but the only one that started to show signs of actually surviving was the young child with the 9 tails, the son of Minato and Kushina. Orochimaru realized that it was because of the beast. He tried to replicate it with the chakra of the 8 tails, but he failed. He needed that boy to do his experiment once again because he had several others, but their body was not able to stabilize as the power was destroying them from the inside after he injected them with the Compound V. We then skip back to Konoha. Some time had passed as Naruto had gotten really friendly with his neighbor, Aiko. She had lost her son during the Nine-Tail attack. As Naruto tried to show remorse for that, she was really nice as him and her quickly became friends. He didn't have much people really. He didn't really have anyone because of the way he carried himself and the way and certain things that he did. However, all of this was a sham, of course. Every single resident in this building was root ninjas that Naruto had never met, and Aiko was a root ninja as well, reporting on him as she was becoming friends with him so that they could keep him in the confines of the village. Danzo was taking extra precaution because he see the future, unlike Hiruzen, who wanted to believe so badly that the child would not turn against them, but Danzo see it. He see it all too well. Yes, he does. When the academy day finally started, Naruto attended as Aiko even made him breakfast that morning. The woman was really sweet. So with that, they proceeded. As Mizuki was captured by certain ninjas last night after trying to steal the Forbidden Scroll, as the students had asked about him. Naruto was placed on Team 7 with Sasuke Uchiha and Sakura Haruno. Kakashi was informed all too well about Naruto, but instead of using raw power, Naruto showed his intellect by realizing what the bell test was truly about and had them work together. Therefore, they passed the test. Later that night, Aiko could be seen sneaking out to report to Danzo on Naruto's well-being. One of the things that he hated most was people that lied and betrayed him, and Aiko was doing all of that. So yes, that is the basic last part left off. You guys can switch across the play sector for yourself. So instead we jump right into this brand new episode. Begin now, guys. We begin this episode with Aiko as she placed a glass of milk right beside the plate. Naruto looked up towards her with a smile as he took the glass and started to drink. He really liked milk. Aiko had offered to make him breakfast. He's been a ninja for a few weeks now. He had been telling her everything regarding what he has been doing. It was mostly boring stuff. However, he felt like it was part of his growth to go through the normal channels, so no one would say that he was cheating or going above because of his special quirks. Yes, Aiko had been taking note of his behavior. He was really dependent. He might be vastly powerful, maybe unbreakable to a point, but he needed emotional support. He clinged on to her as soon as they became close. He saw her as someone to be there in his life like a mother or an older sister, as she was taking care of him, despite the fact that he was fully capable of doing so. He was in need of parental support. It seems that might be the only thing that they could use to control him. Her orders were clear. She was to get as close as possible to him. As she watched him drink the milk, she smiled at him. She was extensively trained on how to handle situations like these regarding emotions. However, she was not the only one. Every single person within this building was a part of it. It was their job to keep one of Konoha's greatest weapon and greatest liability a part of the village. Yes, it was. Time skip. As Naruto was flying through the air, things had been going great. Aside from the annoying missions. Yes, those were rather boring, but he supposed if it was needed, he would play his part and not get upset about it. Aiko had been wonderful. She treated him like her son. He wondered if she saw him as such. She did lose her son during the attack of the Nine Tails after all. He never got to know his parents, but he supposed this was what it was supposed to be like. This is what it would have felt like if he had any. She was a really wonderful person, and they got along so well ever since he started to focus on her and focusing on having an actual good life. The voice in his head stopped bothering him. It stopped telling him to slaughter everyone around him, and he supposed that was good. Moments later, Naruto lifted the cat up by the back of its neck. The thing slashed and clawed at his face, trying to break his skin, but it wasn't able to. As he tilted his head looking at the feline in his hand, how easy it would be right now to simply burn its eyes out or squish its head into nothingness. As he started to apply a little bit of pressure, it stopped clawing at him as it tried to defend itself. Naruto! He snapped out of his trance when he heard his sensei's voice over the earpiece. Did you find the target? Yes. As Naruto placed the cat in his hand and flew towards where the group was. Him and his team had been getting along, well, somewhat. The Uchiha was rather arrogant. Usually, how he dealt with people like that was punching right through their heads because he didn't like people like that who believed they were better than him and no one was better than him. However, this was a team. Teams in Root were different. Their life was expendable. His was not. But he supposed the Uchiha life was not expendable. He was needed for Konoha's growth. He was the last Uchiha remaining within the village. He should really hunt down and kill Itachi for what he did. He sabotaged Konoha's strength by wiping out so much of the Uchihas. They would have been useful to protect the village. That is why most of the others believed that Konoha was getting weak. However, he's here now, and he's going to make sure that they realized they were dead wrong. Time skip. Naruto watches the Uchiha tell the Hokage that he deserved better. As Naruto stood there and watched, seeing the Hokage thinking it over, despite the child being rude about it, he decided to give them a better rank mission. C rank. Still pathetic in his opinion, but he supposed it was better than this. He noticed that the girl didn't seem so happy about it. She wasn't sure that she was ready. However, anything to please the one that she seemed to be obsessed about, and that was the Uchiha. Their mission was scheduled for tomorrow. So with that, they made their way off, dismissed for the day. Later that evening, Aiko was at work. There wasn't much for him to do. He was rather bored. He didn't really have friends his own age. What does he like to do for fun? Oh yeah. Naruto stood in the forest, as he was holding a bear that was so large, at least 10 times his size, in mid-air. The thing was struggling. As Naruto watched it, he threw it upwards before grabbing it by the leg. As he dangled it, the poor animal begging to be put down. So he did put it down. However, he flew down as well. The both of them hit the ground with a splat. He was unharmed, but the bear was blown to pieces. Chunks of blood and matter flying everywhere. A large spider jumped from behind as it proceeded to wrap its web around him. It was trying to contain him as it pulled him down. Well, he allowed it. That is when he saw the others. The animals in here really don't like him because he enjoys slaughtering them. He finds it relaxing. Hundreds of them came out of hiding. He supposed that would have brought them out to believe that he was defenseless. Naruto turned as he sliced his hand right through the web and through the thing's skull. As he turned towards the others before committing a animal genocide. Well, they were insects to be quite precise. Naruto turned as he noticed something. So caught up in having fun he did not realize that someone had been here. As there was a scroll not too far away, hanging by a red rope in the tree. Flying towards it, Naruto zapped it with his heat vision as he caught the scroll. He burned the rope. Naruto opened it, not worried about traps, as he doubted they could actually hurt him. He was confused by the contents that reside inside. Do not trust them. They're using you. That was all that it said. He looked it over, wondering. Naruto flew through the entire forest within seconds, tearing around trying to find if anyone was here, but there was no one to be seen. The person must have put it there while he was taking on the spiders. Naruto held it in his hand before he burned it with his heat vision. He didn't know if this was some practical joke or something, but if it was, it wasn't funny. He really hates when people betray him. There has been many in the past, but, well, they were no longer amongst the living. It was while he was on missions. Other groups pretending like they were allied with his cause, Konoha. There was this one group, powerful people. Well, they believed that they were powerful in their mind. However, to him they were simply amusing. He had used their arms as bats to knock the head off their children and made the others watch. Well, that is what they deserve for going against him, taking his trust and using that against him. He hated that the most, especially when they lied to his face. Time skip. Here they were. He could simply fly, but, well, he was amongst the team, so it was better that he simply walked with them. They were heading towards the land of Wave. Their client was a man known as Tazuna. So here they were as they headed towards the village. They were supposed to protect him while he built this bridge. The Uchiha seemed really happy. However, the best that will show up is a couple of bandits, and they won't be a challenge. But Naruto was simply playing his part once again. He had a backpack on. Aiko had packed a few things for him. Food, and also milk as well. He didn't know why he liked milk that much. It was good for you, but he didn't know why. It was a long time ago that he saw a mother breastfeeding her child. And from that moment on, something just, well, he couldn't explain it. And Aiko was so generous with it as well. Maybe she just wanted to make him happy. Maybe he reminded her of her son. He didn't know why, but he liked the thought of that strangely. As they walked, he noticed something on the ground. It was a puddle. The sun was too hot for that to remain where it was. He focused as he heard it. He heard it. They were preparing and readying themselves. Two of them, he could hear their heartbeats. He glanced over towards the sensei. He knew of this man, his reputation. There was no doubt in his mind that he knew what was going on. Perhaps he was testing them. So Naruto simply ignored it. Suddenly, Sakura spun around as she heard something. Kakashi got captured, chains wrapped around him. Now, they tore him to shreds. Her eyes went wide as her body stiffened up in fear. The demon brothers rushed forward. Naruto was their next target, being the closest to Kakashi. Their chain wrapped around him. Now, they tried to pull, however. They were unsuccessful. Naruto stood there, as he did not even move, or make an effort to try and block them or stop them from doing what they were doing. They simply physically could not pull him apart. Naruto grabbed one of the chains and threw it. As he threw it at such an angle and at a force that the demon brother who had the chain in his goblet was thrown right towards Sasuke. "He's all yours," he said. The Uchiha was itching for a fight. Well, he has one. Sasuke jumped in the air, jumping over the demon brother, before he twisted and brought his leg down, slamming it hard on his skull. Itching to take someone down to prove his strength, while not liking that someone else was involved in the procedure. Well, at least he still take him down. The hit was not normal, as he made brutal contact with the head, taking him out. It wasn't going to be that easy if Naruto wasn't involved, as he kept on second guessing himself that he didn't do it alone. Sakura stood there, kunai in hand, wondering what to do, wondering if Naruto was going to toss one at her as well. However, he yanked the chain. Miyaizu quickly released it though, seeing what would be the downfall. Before he even moved, Naruto stood in front of him. Naruto lashed out and gripped his throat and ripped it out. Miyaizu was choking as blood sprayed all over his clothing. Naruto then held him by the shirt and threw him straight in the sky. The group watched in the distance as something fell, splat head first. Naruto brushed his arms off. "Well, that's that," he said. Sakura looked mortified as she looked at Naruto's hand covered in blood. Well, he had fingerless gloves on, as he was wearing the black and red clothing. Sakura stepped away. She saw, right in front of her eyes, he ripped that guy's throat out without hesitation. Even Sasuke looked disturbed by that. Naruto looked at them confused, before his eyes turned red as he blasts the other one head clean open with the laser from his eyes. A little bit of blood splashing on Sasuke. Sakura threw up. Sasuke seemed to swallow as he stepped back. "Why do they act this way?" said Naruto. He was talking to Kakashi, who stood behind him. "You can't be doing something like that. They're fresh genins," Kakashi said as he now stood in front of Naruto, trying to make him understand. "Yes, they are. However, they are now genins, as you said. They're no longer in the academy. They should understand the brutality and the ruthlessness of this world. You had been through it more than them. This is not something that they've ever done before, taking a life. You need to understand that they're going at a much slower pace than you." Hearing that pissed Sasuke off, as Naruto glanced towards him first. He heard about what happened during the Uchiha massacre. He was surprised that the Uchiha was so soft. Although he didn't throw up, he stepped forward. "I apologize," he said, looking towards the both of them. "I never expected the both of you to be so uncommon to death. Next time my actions would be out of sight and not too brutal, even if your mind cannot understand or cope with the destruction and malice around you." His words were very intellectual as he spoke to them, trying to make a reprieve, to let them know that, well, they were soft, but he didn't say it in such ways. Now, if I do remember correctly, Those were the demon brothers. Strangely enough, they weren't going after you, Naruto said as he was talking to Kakashi. After all, they would have reached for your head to get your bounty. That could only mean, you there, bridge builder. You said that this was a C rank, protecting you from common bandits. Tell me something. Why were the demon brothers after you? Tazuna was sweating after seeing what the kid just do to those guys. And the brain matter of one was still on the ground. I don't know what you're talking about. Naruto gazed, fixated on the man. I'm going to ask you this question once more. Your heart rate is elevating, which means you're lying to me. And I really don't like liars. Now, why were they after you? Tazuna looked towards Naruto and Kakashi. Looking rather fearful, he might as well come out and say it. I lied. That's good enough, Naruto said as his eyes turned red as he zapped, intending on tearing right through Tazuna. However, Kakashi already moved when Naruto said that's enough, as he pulled the man out of the way and stood in front of him. What the hell do you think you're doing, he said, looking towards Naruto. We were lied to. A great atrocity, said Naruto. As you can see, this mission is a lot more dangerous than it should be. That meant he falsely gave us incorrect information which could have led to one of your children's death. Therefore, his life now belonged to the custody of Konoha for his lie, and I shall be the one to take out his punishment, which is death. Now move aside, said Naruto as his eyes start to glow red once again. Stand down now. That's an order, said Kakashi. Naruto's eyes were still red as he looked at the man. What are you waiting for? Go right through him. The voice spoke up in his head. However, another spoke in his mind. Be good to your teammates, okay? Everyone needs friends. And listen to your sensei. I know that you're very powerful. Perhaps even powerful than him. I am, said Naruto. But he's still your sensei. Do the right thing. It was a memory from him speaking to Aiko. As Naruto calmed down as his eyes returned back to normal. Affirmative, he said, as he proceeded to stand down. Naruto listened as they spoke. Sasuke wanted to continue. Sakura definitely did not, but she wanted to impress Sasuke, so she agreed. Now it was his turn to say something. No, Naruto said, I believe we should turn back and leave him to die by the hands of this Gato. His life should not be a hindrance to us. What if you take this mission and one of these children here were to die because of his negligence and your authority to agree to what he says? He lied, and we should not move or proceed forward. You should do the right thing of informing the Hokage about what is going on. Kakashi looked towards Naruto. What Naruto said was truthful and his actions were justified because of what Tazuna did. However, he knew a lot as he's been watching a lot. And this might be a way to change that perspective of his, to make him a better person. He had an idea. We will continue the mission. I will send word back to the Hokage about what is going on. With me here and you as well. There's no need to fear, he said, looking towards Naruto. I need you to fully cooperate on this mission despite you being against it. Am I understood? Yes, you are, said Naruto. I will do my utmost best on this mission. As Naruto was blind to his authority because he was the team leader. That was the only reason. Laughter could be heard in his head. You simple, submissive fool. Making him boss you around. This pathetic waste of space who cannot stand up to you at all. Truly and utterly pathetic. Tazuna was grateful to hear that. Utterly grateful as he thought they would be going back, but instead, they were going along. Sasuke was furious. Kakashi made it sound like he was not even here. making it sound like him and Naruto could do this without any hindrance. And that pissed him off, like he wasn't even there. Time skip. Everything was rather awkward on the boat, with Naruto trying to kill Tazuna. As they looked at one another, Tazuna felt rather uncomfortable as Naruto kept on looking at him. He was not even blinking. "I will not apologize for killing you. You lied to us," said Naruto. "However, I will do you a favor, despite your lying. I've heard about this Gato." You have?" Tazuna said, trying to stay on this kid's good side. Whoever he is, he's vastly powerful. And he seemed to not hesitate to kill as well. "I've heard about him, yes," said Naruto, "and certain things that he's done. It seems your country is just another stepping stone in his ultimate power of wealth and resources. I've heard that he's a horrible person, and given the fact that he's so close to our nation, he pushed drugs, does human trafficking and all of that. I'll find him and kill him," said Naruto. "I won't allow him to even think of entering the land of fire, so there is nothing for you to worry about." The man that was guiding the boat looked towards Naruto as he stretched his legs before he hovered in the air. Kakashi tried to stop him, but he simply waved him off. He wasn't going anywhere. He just needed to stretch his legs slightly. Well, not exactly, but flying. Kakashi has been taking notes of Naruto. For one thing, Naruto could not use chakra. He could not use it in a way that they use it. His body did produce chakra, but he could not use it as techniques, as his abilities more than enough compensate for that, so there was nothing to worry about. With that, Team 7 made their way towards the mainland once again. The man that brought them here wishing them luck. The place was heavy with mist. There was so much around. As they start to enter deeper and deeper, Sakura wondered if she made the right decision. Should she had agreed to turn back with Naruto? Speaking of him, he killed without remorse. He didn't hesitate. She knew that he did that to protect them because those guys did not hesitate to kill, but still. He was their age and yet he did so without remorse. She didn't really know anything about him. She barely talked to him. Neither of them barely talked, but somehow they got along as a team because they actually worked together. But she was a bit afraid of him. Look in his eyes when he killed. She shrugged it off. She believed that she would be safe, although she was afraid. He was there, and their sensei was powerful as well. And besides, her Sasuke-kun was here as well. "Someone is watching us," Naruto said all of a sudden. Two of them, to be quite precise. One of them is making a distant retrieve to stay away. The other one is coming closer. Naruto was looking down as he spoke. They could all hear him carefully. "Kakashi, took that with strive. I want you three together. Triangle formation around Tazuna. And protect him at all costs." Naruto turned. "Duck," he said. He was correct as Kakashi tackled Tazuna down to the ground. Sakura was confused as she turned instead of ducking, and Sasuke dropped. However, Naruto stepped in front of her, the blade gripped by his bare hands, as he stopped it without even moving. Her eyes went wide. She hadn't taken stock in what he had said, as she was going to move in formation to what Kakashi had said. He saved her life. He saved her. That is when someone appeared on the blade, standing right on the hilt, as Naruto was still holding on to it. You know, it's not a good idea to catch someone's weapon, because they can do this. Jumping off, Zabuza gripped the hilt of his blade, intending on tearing Naruto's head off and killing the client as well because Kakashi was still on the ground. However, to his shocking surprise, he could not remove the thing from Naruto's grip. Naruto smiled at him, amusing, as he applied a bit too much pressure and break a piece of the blade off, his hand breaking through it. Quickly flashing away, Zabuza got back, looking at his blade with a shocked look on his face, now truly realizing that the kid stopped it with his bare hands. No jutsu or special technique, just his bare hands. What the hell? He thought to himself. I presume you would like to handle this as our sensei, said Naruto. Just stand back and guard the client, said Kakashi, as Naruto folded his arms and stepped back. Zabuza, snapping out of his trance, started to speak to Kakashi. As Naruto looked around, his vision enhancing beyond human, normal comprehension, as he saw the other one. He saw right through the mask, seeing the face. Naruto tilted his head before he looked down. Oh, it's a guy. Huh, with a face like that. I wonder. Naruto looked around until he saw a piece of stone. He picked it up and started to hold it in his hand. He then proceeded to throw it as he watched. He watched as the hunter and then jumped out of the way as the stone split the branch. Fast reflex. They're good. At this sense away, Haku was confused. How did he? Back towards the scene, Kakashi started to fight. Zabuza, believing that it was a good idea, which was not, to end up right in the center of the group. However, his mistake was talking before doing anything. And just like that, it's over. Naruto placed a hand on his shoulder, stopping the movement of his right hand, so he could not swing his blade. It would be so easy to rip it off right now, but his sensei wanted to partake and defeat this opponent. Naruto gripped into his flesh and launched him out of the center, sending him towards the sea. Sakura once again was baffled, as she couldn't even react in time. Sasuke was furious as he didn't even move, unable to even see that Zabuza had appeared, but Naruto was already there to confront him. The client was just grateful that the kid was here, otherwise he would be dead. Naruto watched in great disappointment as Kakashi got captured. I must say, I'm truly disappointed. I've heard so much about the great copy ninja Kakashi, and you got yourself captured. Naruto said, shaking his head. That's enough out of you, brat. I'm gonna cut you down first, Zabuza said. I don't know what the hell you are, but I'll go through you like I did many others in my days. You mean the weaklings that you fought so far? You and me are two very different people. And me and those pathetic garbage that you beat in the past are also very different as well. However, this isn't just about me anymore now, is it? Naruto turned towards Sasuke as he looked him over before turning to Sakura. Stay here and guard the client. Do not worry. Your life is not in jeopardy, he said. I won't let him harm you. Come, Sasuke, let's go. What? Sasuke said. You wanted to fight. Here's your opportunity. 2 water clones were formed. Now, destroy them. This is your chance to prove yourself, something you've been looking forward to for some time now. While these clones are not as strong as the original, they do pack a hefty blow. So go ahead, cut them down, said Naruto. Don't worry, I'll be there to give you assistance. Let us go. As Naruto started to walk, Sasuke looked at him before he pulled out 2 shurikens in his left hand, a kunai in his right. Kakashi wasn't against the idea, knowing that Naruto could confidently back up the team, but he was worried that his negligence was going to get the others hurt. Not Naruto, but Sasuke and Sakura. The 2 clones engaged. One went for Naruto and the other one went right for Sasuke. Sasuke first tossed the shuriken as the clone knocked it away. However, he wasn't done yet. He launched a kunai. It was a distraction. He breathed fire from his mouth, blocking the clone's vision. However, the thing jumped in the air. However, the last shuriken already left Sasuke's hand. The clone proceeded to knock it away though, until Sasuke pulled on the ninja wire as it stabbed in the clone back when coming back around, reducing it back to water. As for Naruto's clone, he simply punched the thing head clean off. Its blade was not fast enough. There you have it, said Naruto. You did wonderful work, proving yourself strong enough to take down not just any normal clone but a water clone that possessed a portion of the original's power. Now, Naruto gripped Sasuke by the shirt and launched him. Sasuke's eyes went wide as he then realized what Naruto wanted him to do, as he was going straight for Zabuza, bursting through hand sign, fire style. For about jutsu, he launched a technique. Zabuza had no choice but to throw his blade up in the air. He rushed through one-handed techniques, quickly reaching. Water style, he said, erupting water wall, as he plunged his hand in the ground, creating a water wall that blocked Sasuke's fire, causing steam to fill the area. However, Sasuke did not fly through it though. Zabuza's eyes snapped around. Where the hell is he thought, trying to locate the child. Are you looking for me? He heard. When he saw Naruto floating above the water, he reached up to catch his blade. However, poof! His eyes went wide, as he did not even notice the last shuriken that was on the left side of his blade, the shuriken that Sasuke had transformed into. As the blade, Sasuke's feet landed on it and slashed downwards, forcing Zabuza to jump back. Sasuke was about to fall in the water, but Kakashi caught him, freed from his prison. As Naruto floated there, Zabuza cursed. The right side of his face was leaking, starting from his eyebrow, coming straight down towards his cheek, a nasty little slash from Sasuke. You guys did well, said Kakashi, dripping with water. Don't worry, I'll handle the rest. Time skip. Zabuza was pinned up against a tree, heavily wounded. By Kakashi, of course. Zabuza looked up, wondering if the man could truly predict the future. He thought this was an ordinary team, but this was no ordinary team. As Kakashi rushed forward intending on ending his life, Naruto suddenly shot his heat vision towards Kakashi's head. Well, that is what it seems like. But it whipped past his head and destroyed the senbons that would have pierced his neck. Kakashi turned looking towards Naruto, when someone quickly landed beside Zabuza, already finishing their technique. They manipulated the moisture within the air and shoot water bullets at Kakashi, forcing him to step back. Naruto stood there. Despite that he could fly and reach them in time, he simply stood there watching. The fake hunter nin pulled Zabuza right through a glass mirror made from ice. He simply stood there with a smile watching the whole thing, finding it rather amusing. As Naruto walked over, it seems he wasn't working alone. Yes, it seems that Kakashi fell down unconscious. He was out. Naruto looked at him. What happened to Sensei? Sakura said. Do not sweat, said Naruto. He's simply unconscious. As Naruto picked him up, let us get going, he said. Time skip. Kakashi briefed the team that they were going to have to train. Yes, he was going to focus on Sakura and Sasuke's training. There wasn't really anything that he could teach Naruto that would be useful to the child, because he could not use chakra like them. So they began tree walking exercise. It was difficult for Sasuke but easy for Sakura because of her low chakra capacity. As Naruto stood there watching, Sakura came up towards him. Hey. He turned towards her. Thanks for saving me earlier, she said to him. Do not worry about it, said Naruto. We are teammates, are we not? Yeah, she said. Maybe he wasn't so bad after all. Time skip. Sasuke was still struggling to get the tree walking exercise. It was dark out and he still could not do it. Naruto had simply sat there and watched, not really doing anything. Sasuke seemed like he was about to give up, taking breaks every now and again so he wouldn't be completely dry. "You want my help?" said Naruto. "No," Sasuke said. He was arrogant. If you don't accept help, you'll never reach anywhere. I've heard that before, not a saying to me though. But I believe it should be one that you receive in this certain situation. "What the hell can you help me with?" Sasuke said. "Well, it's simple. I think you're not motivated enough. You're not focusing. In stressful situations, most people tend to shut their mind off and do stupid actions. But others tend to focus, to understand the situation that they're in, knowing that they had to make a move, the right move, or else it could mean life or death. That is why, if you don't climb up that tree in the next minute, you're gonna be toast." As Naruto started to fire his laser at the ground, Sasuke looked at him like he was crazy, but to his surprise and shock, he was not stopping. Sasuke tried to flee, but Naruto started to fly around the tree, zapping every single part, coming closer and closer. "Stop this, you idiot!" Sasuke yelled at him. "Climb up the damn tree. Focus. Remember what you were told. Use the right amount of chakra and stop being an idiot. It's simple. Do it." Sasuke was sweating as Naruto was getting closer and closer. One hit from that and he would be screwed. He saw what it did to that demon brother. Sasuke closed his eyes and took a deep breath, remembering the instructions, feeling the chakra that was on the bottom of his feet, trying to replicate that force throughout his entire feet. As he then started to walk, praying to whatever deity out there that needs help, because his teammate was a psychopath. I guess you're one of those people that focus in stressful situations. Sasuke looked down as he saw Naruto on the ground. I did it," he said with a confident smirk on his face. A happy, confident one. He pulled it off. Time skip. Naruto was calmly walking within the forest. Kakashi was back at the house teaching the other two some things. They would be going out tomorrow for the whole bridge thing. Naruto had went a far distance away. He saw the people suffering within the land, but once again he just didn't feel that pity that people would feel when things does not really concern him at all. But he did stray away because he was bringing someone out. Yes, he was. He felt the person following him for some time now, but he's been acting a fool, trying to act like he didn't know what was going on. So yes, and the person kept on following him. All of a sudden he turned and zooped forward as he slammed the person right into a tree. "You have 5 seconds to tell me why you're following me. And if you don't give me answer by then, I'll kill you. 5, 4, 3. I was the one that left that message in the forest for you," the person said, as they were wearing a black cloak. "To not trust them," said Naruto. "That makes me want to kill you even more for spying on me. However, I'll give you 5 more seconds to intrigue my interest. There are things that you don't know." "Is that so? Things about what?" "About yourself. About Konoha. They've been lying to you. All of them has." "What do you mean?" said Naruto. "If you would come with me, I can bring you to the person that gifted you with these powers." Naruto chuckled as he backed away. "Who? God?" The man pulled his cloak down to show silver hair, glasses, As Naruto looked at him, seeing the Konoha headband on his forehead. You're a Konoha ninja. Yes and no. My name is Kabuto Yakuji. And there's a lot that you don't know about yourself or Konoha. However, my master is close by, and he wished to have a conversation with you. Your sensei might be looking for you. So let us do this quickly, and he can give you all the answers that you desire. Naruto looked at him. Fine, I'll amuse you, he said. However, if this turns out to be a waste of my time, I'll kill you and your master. Moments later, Naruto was taken to a island nearby. He did not fear walking into a trap, as they could not hurt him. Naruto was rather shocked when he came across a person. His eyes immediately turned red. Orochimaru of the Sannin, traitor of this village, and your creator, Orochimaru said. Naruto looked at him strangely. Kabuto had sent word to Orochimaru, and he came here yesterday. Yes, so that he could finally have a conversation with this boy. Kabuto had been watching the boy for some time now. Orochimaru knew that he could turn him to his side, and he could also find out the secret of why the others did not stabilize as he did. My creator, said Naruto. Yes, they told you that you were born with these powers, but it was a lie. I am the one that gifted you these abilities. You're testing my patience. I don't like liars. You can tell if I'm lying. Look at me. Do you think I'm lying? As Naruto listened to his heartbeat. But that could not be trusted. The Sannin was a crafty liar. Give me one reason why I shouldn't kill you right here for all the crimes you did against Konoha. Well, if you do, you will never know about how they are using you or how much you're trapped in their little web. How much of a puppet you are. Starting with your neighbor, Aiko. Naruto slammed Orochimaru into the wall, violently cracking it. Keep her name out of your mouth. One more move and I'll burn your eyes open, said Naruto, as he turned towards Kabuto, who tried to get involved. Stay, Kabuto. He doesn't truly want to kill me. He wants answers. The one that you believe, the one that you trust so much, has been nothing but a pawn in a bigger game. Look. Naruto saw papers on the decks. Take a look and you will see. He released the Sannin as Orochimaru dropped back to his feet. As Naruto picked up the paper. What is this? As he then started to realize, this is Aiko. Her records within Konoha. Yes, they are. But take a closer look and see if you can see what is wrong. As Naruto looked at them, those are from the direct record room within Konoha. Just something to be placed there as a letterhead. And now look at that one. The registry. But this doesn't make sense. Why would a record be within the room and yet why isn't her name a part of the register? Because it's a facade. A lie. Her name was simply placed. Her record was added. Because she's a pawn in a much greater scheme to control you. But not just her. Every single member within the building. I must give them that. They play a very convincing part, however. You see, Kabuto over there might be one of this world's greatest spies that ever exist. And he has already documented Konoha ninjas and also people, but not the important ones. And none of those that are living within your apartment was in the record until lately. They were planted there. Orochimaru stepped closer towards Naruto. So as you can see, they're using you. First of all, they lied. Because Orochimaru flipped open the other file as Naruto saw photos. A young whisker-marked cheap boy. As Orochimaru stood there. What are these? This is how you got your abilities. I experimented on you. You what? Easy. Look at you now. You're powerful, unbreakable, a god amongst men. You should be happy. Konoha took you away from me. Right after I found you. Right after your parents committed the ultimate sacrifice. Upon risking their life to save you. My parents? Naruto said, what do they have to do with this? Let me guess. They gave you some false story. My parents were standard ninjas of Konoha. They don't know how I got my abilities. Because my parents had none. Amusing to believe that they've lied so much to you. But the truth is, your father wasn't a standard Konoha ninja. Your father was Minato Namikaze. And your mother was a lady known as Kushina Uzumaki. One of the last offspring of the Uzumaki clan until you arrived. And your father was the fourth Hokage. No, that's not possible. They would have told me. Come on now, my boy. Can't you see? They're using you. They want to keep you as nothing but as a pawn. Situated and locked away. That is all they want. I am the only one that is willing to give you the right answers. I am the only one that is willing to tell you what you need to know. And I will reveal everything for you. All those that are trying to use you. The day I experimented on you the first time I saw you showing unnatural signs of abilities, I knew you were meant for greatness. You just need a proper guide. But Konoha is willing to snuff that out. To use you as nothing but a mangy dog to sick on their praise. But I can give you more. I can show you what true greatness is because you deserve nothing but the greatest of greats. A furious look was on Naruto's face until he flew, breaking right through the ceiling of this place. Orochimaru was just looking towards it. Sir, what do we... Easy, Kabuto. Give him time. Everything shall be fine. But sir, it's alright, Kabuto. I can see how things are going to be playing out from this moment on. Orochimaru said with an intriguing smile plastered on his face. Time skip. Naruto had flown out of there. Returned back to the house. Here he was eating dinner with the family. As the young boy started to speak off, saying that they were going to die this and that. When Naruto picked up the knife off the table and threw it, it burst through in his skull. Tsunami screamed, Tazuna fell over as blood splattered everywhere. Naruto blinked. He didn't do that. It was just the first thought that came to his mind. 13 years. 13 years, and for all of it, his entire life was a lie. As he was now putting things together. Thinking about it. Thinking about the reality of things that are around him. If his father was truly Minato Namikaze, they lied to him all this time, keeping all this information away from him. He tried to calm himself. He was feeling so angry. And when he gets angry, he can't control his rage. Naruto got up as Iniri stopped talking. "Where are you going to Kakashi?" "To clear my head," said Naruto. Something was zipping through the sky. Zip, zap, covering the entire lands that were close by. Meanwhile, Gato had just returned. Yes, and he had a conversation some time ago with Zabuza about failing. However, he went offline, but he was now just returning. Tomorrow was the day because he gave Zabuza a week to get back on his feet. So here he was now, situated within the daimyo's residence that once resided in the land of Wave. Comfortably. Until something crashed right on the island that was not connected to the land of Wave. Something fast. Something violent. He rushed towards the window. All he saw was two red dots looking up towards him. Before he could even utter a word, Gato was bisected as all of his men came out. All they could see was a red. The red devilish eyes looking at them. Time skip. There was so much gore, blood, destruction and chaos all around. So much of it. The entire island was destroyed. All the buildings were ripped apart. There was a small amount still, but all of them. The daimyo's large mansion was torn down to the ground. Bodies littered the entire place. Orochimaru still resided within the location that Naruto was brought. As he was waiting, he knew this would be the outcome. Orochimaru heard something as he watched. The young boy stepped inside. Naruto was covered in blood, from head to toe, soaking in it. A smile came on the Sanin's face as Naruto glowing red eyes looked at the Sanin. But guys, be in subscribe right here. If you want to see next part, and do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm off and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.